There are many different kinds of depression: clinical, seasonal, postpartum, everyone's favorite, self-medicated. But there is only one Great Depression. Whatever our complaints about modern society, experts don't go around calling it the Big Sad. The media, however, is constantly proclaiming the end times. Could we experience another Great Depression? What made the Great Depression so great was the lack of money, namely because everyone lost it on the stock market. Nowadays, the stock market only goes up, but back then, it also went down. This intergenerational trauma is why we don't leave anything to chance and instead bow down to the almighty money printer and government bailouts. Of course, people can still lose everything, but that's only because they treat the market like a casino instead of its intended purpose: insider trading. So, if our stock market doesn't go down, does that mean we're safe from a depression? Not necessarily. Despite what many people think, the stock market is not the economy. Other factors, such as purchasing power, economic output, the job market, and overall debt, are better indicators. What is purchasing power? Basically, how far your money goes. What use is a lot of money if you can't buy anything with it? A lesson Germany learned the hard way in the 1920s. The Depression in Germany started earlier than elsewhere, as they were forced to pay hefty reparations after losing World War I. Reparations they could not afford. Central banks control two main things: interest rates and money supply. Unfortunately, the interest rate it controls is the rate it lends at within the country. Germany could not clear its debts by forcing others to lend to it for free. It could, however, literally create money, which is basically the same thing without all the extra steps. Every German became a millionaire and the depression was solved. Not exactly. When you're a millionaire, but a loaf of bread costs $1,000,000, or marks, the word loses its meaning. Frivolously printing money created hyperinflation, and people needed literal wheelbarrows full of money to buy a single loaf of bread. But wait a minute, aren't we printing a bunch of money today? The key word is frivolously. Nowadays, central bankers are much smarter and would never frivolously print money to prop up a stock market or economy. Germany shot itself in the foot, but other countries were smarter. Surely. During the Great Depression, countries wanted to protect their industries. And what better way to protect your industries than to make your citizens buy from them? By incentivizing better products and lower prices? No. By slapping tariffs on everyone else, making yours the only option. Becoming more competitive is way too much work and smells a bit like communism. This is totally cool and could never backfire, because your country doesn't rely on exporting to other countries. Right? Right? Wait, it does? International trade had boomed in the previous century, so when everybody tariffed everybody, exports cratered. Theoretically, domestic demand replaces foreign demand. Like discount toilet paper, however, this only works in theory. A chair might be a chair, but an apple is not a banana. Mega Bloks are not Lego, and Star Wars is not Star Trek. Perfect substitutes rarely exist. Markets develop over decades. You can't just magically flip a switch and, bingo bango bongo, reorganize the entire economy. More jobs disappeared, and there seemed no end in sight. The Great Depression, however, did eventually end. Remember Germany? After inadvertently plaguing themselves with hyperinflation, They defied all odds and found the cure: government spending. It's impossible to justify using government money to help people, however, so Germany did the opposite. After seeing the success of Germany, other countries joined in. World War II. Weapon manufacturing, soldiering, tank mechanic. Jobs were flying left and right, and soon the Great Depression was a distant memory. In fact, there were so many jobs, women and children, previously untapped labor markets, were recruited to pitch in. Amazing. As for debt, bad loans, often to invest in the stock market before it crashed, caused banks to go under during the Great Depression. The whole no jobs thing didn't help debt repayment either. Today, however, credit cards, ginormous mortgages, and insane auto loans don't exist, and the government doesn't spend like a drunken sailor. There are also no job market disruptions, AI, for example, to interfere either. So there you have it. The Great Depression could never happen today because our stock market could never crash. We definitely don't print money frivolously. Tariffs are not choking export markets to death. And jobs are secure. In the impossible event a depression did happen, getting out of it is as easy as starting a world war. On an unrelated note, the military doesn't investigate self-inflicted, debilitating injuries nearly as thoroughly if it happens before the draft starts. Now, where did I put that hacksaw?